Welcome to another episode of That Crazy Triangle Guy. I want to start off here on YouTube looking at my previous video. And what I want to point out, see, look at this, 0 likes. Hit this like button right here. Over here, somewhere in this area, there will also be subscribe button. Subscribe. 10 subscribers I have. And like 48 videos. So come on. And the other thing is the notification bell up here. Hit notifications because I have a full-time job as well as a lot of other things, a busy life, and but I do this because I like doing it, and I think that I bring a unique perspective that you will not see elsewhere. You might see some of the stuff, uh, hopefully you see some of the stuff, but I don't think you'll see it. Quite frankly, you won't see a lot of the stuff covered that I cover. So the main thing I wanted to bring up is here in settings, what you can do, because I know this is very, very slow. We have playback speed. Let's first of all play this video.
Be retesting nothing.
And I have to hurry.
It's already retesting.
Go to playback speed. Hey, we can pump it all the way up to 2 times. If you do it at 1.5, that's kind of like normal talking speed. I almost sound like a normal person now, don't I? So you can do a couple of those things, 1.5 or 2. So let's go back over here. But also what you want to do is not listen to my video in the car or whatever, because you do have to pay attention to the screen. And a lot of times there is a lot of clutter there's a lot of clutter on my screen. And that's just the way it is. I don't want to erase stuff that I put on there. And I'll try to use new charts when I can, fresh charts when I can. But a lot of that other stuff is important, which leads me into this trend line. So you can see the interaction here with this trend line as support, resistance. We bounced up and down here. It's acted as support and resistance here in June of 2022. And this is on a 4-hour time frame. So it's very, very clear, the interaction here. Look at that. We hit it and bounced there. And I don't know how far I want to go, but look at that. We came up above here. We hit it. We attempted to hold it as support for a long time. And then finally in August of 2022 fell below it. And well, look, it's still played a big role August and into September. I think we probably stayed below it then. Let's go back here the other way into June. I think that June was the beginning when we first started interacting with it. What the heck is that? I don't know what that is. I hope we are still in the... I hope my tabs didn't time out here. But you can see now here we are in October of 2020. And here's another trend line. Fluorescent green trend line. And you can see the interaction we've had with it in October 2020. From September to October 2020, acted as a lot of support and resistance here. And back here in June of 2020. And here in June of 2020. Okay, great. My tabs are still here. Here we are going back into May of 2020. And April. A lot of support and resistance along this trend line. Here's another trend line back in, where are we now? September of 2019. And I'll show you in a second what all these trend lines have to do with one another. Look at this, how we broke through it, came down, acted as support here, and bounced right off of it. Continued up here, came back down, acted as it fell through it, and struggled to get above it there. But once we did, boom, busted through. Again here, fell through it is a really important level of support and resistance here. And once we got above it again, came up here. A lot of interaction with it. Where is this? Oh, this is, did I just show this? I'm not sure. No. This is another interaction with another trend line. Right here. Look at that. We're still on the 4-hour chart. It's November 14th through the 18th. That's a half a week interaction there. Here's another trend line. We're on the 8-hour now because I can't go back that far on a shorter time frame. And we are in August of 2017, and you can see how we're interacting with this trend line here. It acted as resistance, and then once we broke it, we went right through it. Came back down, not quite there, but you get the idea. And fell through this trend line here, and it acted as support again. And off we went there. Let's look at another, and here is back in January of 2014. You can see how this trend line here acted as resistance. Now, what do all these trend lines have in common? From January 2014, 17, 2020, and today. What the hell is this? Now that's a mess right there. I'm going to leave that there for a second because, well, here, we'll get back to that. Let me turn on auto. And you can see it's all the same trend line. It is all the same trend line from 2014, 2017, 2018, 19, and 2020, and in 2022, and currently. It's all the same trend line. A whole decade almost in January. In just a few more months, it'll be an entire decade of a trend line that Bitcoin has been following. And currently, let's see, it's a monthly chart. Well, let's just zoom in on the weekly here. Currently, here, you can see that we just bounced off this trend line. Once again, we had been below it. You know what? I'm going to go on it. Let's go to the monthly. Let's see. Okay, this is the Bitcoin on the 1-hour time frame. And you can see 1, 2, 3 bounces on that trend line. After we had been below it and just came above it in June 21st. Came above it up here, came back down, and are now retesting it as support. On the hourly time frame, 3 bounces. Not only on the hourly, but when you go, we're now on the daily. Those are 3 different days. July 18th, July 20th, and yesterday. I also have the Gaussian channel turned on here, and you can see as well that we are holding the daily Gaussian channel as support. Now, this week, what's going to happen this week, you see these little flags, American flags down here. Got a lot of stuff going on this week. We got the FOMC meeting on Wednesday. We have the GDP, advanced GDP coming out on Thursday. And we have, um, hmm, well, we got to have more stuff here. Well, PCE, that's going to be the same as the last CPI, personal spending. They should say, surprised it doesn't say options expirations. We got those on Friday as well. So, a bunch of stuff going on here this week, and I do expect a lot of that to bring a lot of volatility. Now, in a previous video, I did state that point out that what could happen is if we did fall into, and this lavender line, by the way, is the vertical line, is the date of the FOMC meeting. That's Wednesday. Um, and I've mentioned before that gone over the fact that in previous videos we are testing we are testing previous support from back here in this area. Well, actually, back further. This support right here from in the June, July, May, June, July time frame of 2021. That is our previous support. We also held it here in May before we did the final dump with Luna, Terra, and FTX and all that other stuff. That's what we've been retesting, and it's a range. It's a range from where we are in the $29,000, $30,000 range, and it does come down all the way here to 28.8. Now, I believe though that we have spent enough time at 28.8, but I'm not putting it out of the picture that we could fall into the daily Gaussian channel down here to 28.8 around the mid next week and pump back up from there, because that's a lot of times that's what happens when we do fall into the daily Gaussian channel, is that it's a quick breakdown like midway, sometimes all the way through to the bottom, but it's quick. It doesn't last long, and then we bounce right back out. That could happen. I'm not putting that out of the picture. However, we are holding support here. We haven't broken it yet. We did wick slightly into it, but we've done that also in the past. You know what? I'll go over this in another video because I don't want to make this one too long. So that's where we stand today. Let's go back to the hourly, because before this bust up here, there was a lot of support right here. After we wicked in here and came back up, we were holding here. It was not moving. And that was someone that just put in, it was all getting bought up. Everything's getting bought up right here. And why is that important? Well, very shortly, maybe any minute, or I think in about an hour, CME futures opens up. I don't think it's at 2, I think it's at 3. Um, and that's at, well, you know what, let's see where we need to. In order for there not to be a gap, we need to open CME futures about 29,925. So say there's a $50 Premium on futures might be 100. So we need to open up 29, say 825 to 850 on spot in order for there not to be a gap. And currently we're at 31.46. I believe that hopefully in the next hour, we can come down to 29, whatever, this area, which will still keep us above the Gaussian channel on the daily time frame. What is that? Okay. 29.8. Let's give you a real number. 29.830, 840, around there. We could come down as far as that in the next hour. Guarantee that there is no gap on CME futures and still stay above the daily Gaussian channel. And I think that's why we had this consolidation here. There's going to be a lot of support right here in this area if we do come down. And hopefully we do, because I don't want to hear people talking about a gap for the next freaking years. Okay, back to our green trend line, which goes back a decade. This is a monthly view of Bitcoin, and I have taken the time to erase a lot of the all this mess that had been covering up all the price action here. I got it off of the monthly view, so we got a clearer view of what's going on. And I also drew a parallel channel that uses the green trend line as a base, and you can just take a look at the price interaction there. Since here, okay, so we traded below the trend line, came up to the top of this channel, came back down, traded below the trend line and outside the channel a little bit, came back up. This is 2019, 2020. It was a little bit weird because of COVID. Came back down, and plus, oh, I don't have it on this chart. I've gone over this time and time again. This was different than 2015 and currently because we did not have the rate of accumulation that we did in 2015 and that we currently do in 2020. Actually, 2020 we had more accumulation than we did in 2015, and not the rate was much slower here. Was not able to support price action, even regardless of COVID. And COVID was just the kicker that whipped us down here. But once we held support here above that trend line, boom, upwards. Once we held support here above this trend line, boom, upwards to the top of the channel. And once we hold support here above this trend line, boom, upwards to the top of this channel. Now I've kind of made these lines here, which happen to be parallel to the purple parallel channel that we have been trading in since the FTX collapse brought us down here. We have been trading in this purple channel. We are currently below it and looking to head back into it. But these trend lines are parallel with this channel, and you can see that from the lows here in 2013, this trend line goes up to the next price. And these are just really to give, they're not really to, well, they kind of are. I was going to say they aren't really connected to any particular prices, but they are. This kind of goes from the bottom here, but it actually goes from the bottom here in 2018 to our high in April of 2021. This one goes from not so much so, but it goes to the actual bottom here, but um, the bottom here and goes up there. These really just give a slope of the price action, just a kind of general direction of where we're headed. However, this goes from the bottom here to the top there, and this goes from the bottom here in June of 2022 to where I believe the top will be here in around July, about a year from now. Is that true? Or would it be out here a little bit more? Huh. You know what? Somewhere in here. Your guess is as good as mine. If it's in, well, that's 232,000. This is 200. That's about 300,000 up there. Anyway, and then I've also drawn these red lines. They're all parallel with each other and show the general slope of our downward periods. Um, I drew those lines because I just wanted to show how it all looks so pretty and kind of forms a pattern there. Now these green lines up top represent the the point between our previous highs. And let me get my measuring tool out. This measures from the high of November 2013 to the high in December of 2017. That's 49 bars. Okay. And from that high, December 17, to our first high in April, 39 bars, to our next high in November of 2021. Is that to November? Well, that was to October. So 46 to 47 bars. So that was 49 bars. That was 46, 47 bars, or 39 bars. I mean, that was a big move right there. So let's not discount that. Now, the third bar here from our high, this is from our high in April to October of 2024. That's 43 bars. So I do think that Bitcoin is cycling faster, and I believe that's why this bar here from December of 2017 to March of 2021. I'm sorry, April of 2021. Did these move? You know, I'm gonna just move these right here because I want to make this. That's kind of weird that those changed. Okay, that's 40 bars. And then the other one would be 47. So we went from 49 to 47, maybe 43, 45. Now this one was 40 bars. So, yeah. Do we? Anyway, that's way out in the future. Just wanted to throw that out there to get you thinking. Now here, so we've been bouncing along. Let's go back to here. You can see we fell below the trend line, came back above it, fell below it with COVID, danced, got rejected off it, came above it, found support, boom. So here we are, came below it, went through it, came above it a little bit, came below it, and now we're looking at looking for support here. And that's why I believe, or just adds support. Oh, I'm sorry. There is another candle right there. It's very, very tiny. It's a very, very tiny July candle. But so we are forming another candle there, and this just adds evidence to my belief that here is where we will pump up to the white X, $40,000, and move on from these support levels to test support levels up here in this range. Um, these purple lines are just, it's not even a single fractal that I copied. It's multiple fractals. I just wanted to create something similar to how I thought the price action would play out in the months ahead. Um, Also, you see the triangles. I can't make a video without pointing out the triangle. We've been trading in this purple triangle since way back here in December of 2018. Huge, huge triangle. And you might even want to bring this up a little bit more. But regardless, um, a breakout here would be consistent. Well, we might break out like we did with the. Well, see, the purple line might not be the top, actually. You might want to bring the top up a little bit higher. So, yeah, coming up here, testing the top of the triangle, coming back down towards the end of the year, maybe back to, down to $40,000. This would be up to like $50,000, back down to 40, playing around here before finally breaking out next year, in the first part of next year, and heading upwards. You can see the interaction with our parallel channel that we have been trading in, and I pointed that out. This is a monthly time frame, but you can get the idea. And if you've watched my videos, you know that you've seen the price action here. The other thing I wanted to bring up, wow, I better hurry because this video is getting a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. I used up all my time, so I got to make this quick, and I'm going to have to cut out some of my other videos. So this is back in 2015 on the monthly time frame, the Gaussian channel, how we dipped into it here and held it as support. It's really kind of amazing how we held that as support there, and then off to the races. In here in 2019, came back down and it didn't fall in. It's kind of bounced off before we even hit it, but did fall in later in 2022 right down to the mean band, held it as support and off to the races. Now here we are currently. We've fallen into it a little bit, found support on the mean band, and now are currently attempting to break out of it. Now the top of it is at 32,982 currently, and see what happens as the month closes with that number. Um, Now that number is consistent with, well, actually with this, you can see the support level here from January of 2022, and other lines that support levels that I have on the chart. So I you know, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I'll see you next time. Bye.